guys, I hope you're having a good day. I am ready to check the roots on these guys, and my lighting is so bad everywhere else that this is over the sink is the brightest place I have to do it right now. So I am going to check these guys. If you saw my video planting these guys up, they were a gift that my friend Erin sent me from Little Emerald Thumb on Etsy. And it potted them up and was talking about how when we import them in the winter, we have to treat them a bit differently and water them a bit, even though it's kind of against the rules, so to speak, because them developing a new root system is of primary importance, and leaf formation is secondary. And so anyways, they've been in this pot. I'm gonna have to look. I will put it in the description box below. I'll look at the date on that other video, but I think it's been about 3 weeks at least, if not more. So we shall see. I planted them in gritty mix as you saw in the video so that it's super loose and it won't hurt them to check these guys. And if there's any resistance, I won't pull. That one has some resistance. There we go. Alrighty. So when it sticks to the pumice and stuff, we know that's new root growth. This has some fantastic new root growth. Look at that. This whole section here that's covered in grit and gravel and bark and whatnot is all new root growth. Fan-flipping-tastic. These guys were still blooming late, as you can see, and so they're not forming new leaves yet, so these guys need water. And I have been watering them a fair amount, especially compared to my other established lithops. All right, these guys, not so much. Yep, not so much at all on that one. Sorry, I'm not looking through my camera lens, so I'm not keeping it in the viewer here. We got a little bit, yeah, we got a little bit on this guy. It just needs a little bit more encouragement and water. This one didn't hold on to anything, but it's definitely new root growth. It's all fuzzy and white. I doubt the camera will. Oh, maybe it will. I don't know if you can tell that that's fuzzy against my hand. But this new root growth and this new root growth, fantastic. This one's got new stuff. These really hairy, fine roots are new. Oops, it's not focusing. Here we go. These really long, you can see the old roots that were here. It kind of curled around and this little stem, but all of these new, oh, now it's not focusing again. All the new spindly stuff, so to speak, is new. This one doesn't really have any new root growth whatsoever. So this guy is gonna get soaked in a vitamin B1 solution and then repotted up with these guys. This guy's got some new growth. Look at these long, whoops, don't want to hurt him, but these long, lovely roots are new. And then it's attached to some new fine growth, but they definitely need a bit more water. These fine, hairy roots aren't as plump as I would want them to be. I didn't want to water them right before we left for our little 3-day trip. And so I left them on the dry side, which is a good thing that I did, because we had a breaker flip and my grow tent, the lights all went off for who knows how long. I'm not exactly sure if it was the entire time we were gone or just part of the time, but either way the lights were off in both of my grow tents, and if I had watered them and then they had no light, that could have been sad. So I'm glad I didn't, but they are all gonna get a nice watering. And actually what I'm gonna do, instead of soaking these in a little cup or bowl or whatever you have handy, or whatever I have handy, I am going to actually just water this pot really, really well with a vitamin B solution, and then put the whole pot in a container and let it just soak up in that pot all night long, and just soak that vitamin B1 solution so that it doesn't just drain out and evaporate, so that it's actually kind of soaking all night, but it's not as intense as if they're just put directly into water, if that makes sense. They can still get air really well and stuff because they're in this wonderful loose mix. And so I am actually, none of these were had enough roots on them that I was like, oh no, watering it's time to let them go dry again. Not yet, especially since these ones were flowering and aren't even producing new roots. These were definitely the farthest along, but they're also the least far along in their new life cycle development as compared to some of these that are starting to split and you can see the new leaves. And I'm not super worried about how deep I'm burying these guys right now because I'm going to pull them out in a few weeks and check them again, so it's not super important how I'm arranging them or how deep they are, etc. I just want the roots to be in really good contact with the medium and to have some support. And one more. And this one's looking kind of sad. You can see the outside is shrivelly. The inside body is still firm though. There's all the way up to here. This whole bottom spot is really firm, which is the new set of leaves that's forming. But we do need to get it a little bit of moisture because it hasn't started splitting yet. I really use when they're splitting as a guide for when to stop watering. I really, rather than the time period, I use just what their life cycle is mostly. All right, I am going to add an exact measurement, as you can see, not of vitamin B1, and show you what I'm going to do with it. So I'm just going to poke it in there like this, and then soak it all really good from the top. This is just an alternative to soaking. One of my friends and viewers here on the channel, I don't like to say people's names without their permission, but she just showed in our Facebook group a photo of her conophytum that she had just got. I believe she had just got them, and was soaking them before she planted them to stimulate some new root growth. And she had a great idea. I don't know if it was hers or someone else's, but she had a little like a sour cream container or yogurt container, you know, some little plastic type container, and then she poked holes in the lid and then stuck the bodies of the conophytum down into it so that just the roots were immersed in the soil, and the lid, the little area, the actual lid part that was around the hole up, held them up like this. And it was a great idea. Okay, so this is all gonna set here and just have some good soakiness. It's warm water, not, you know, not hot, but just nice, warmer than room temperature, more along the lines of, you know, body temperature, but a little bit cooler. They absorb a lot more, and it doesn't shock them as much either, especially if you're immersing or soaking them. And of course, it's going to go to room temperature eventually. You can put this on like a seed warming mat overnight just to help encourage more absorption, but I really don't need to do that. It'll be just happy like this. So I'm going to let these guys sit overnight, and then I may not even let them sit overnight. We'll see. At least a few hours. If they look like they're, yeah, I don't know. The roots were pretty sketchy on those, so I will probably end up leaving these overnight. But I always leave myself the option to not. If I check them later and think, no, I follow my intuition so much with plants. It's one of my, I love research obviously, but intuition is definitely a key. So I may pull these out, but I doubt it. I'm guessing they'll soak all night long, and then tomorrow I'll pull them out, and they'll be dry within a few hours. If this was some kind of a soil mix, I would never do this, just to put that out there. If it was pumice, I would totally do this, and you know, some of the other really loose mixes, I would do this. But if it was a sandy mixture or a any kind of compost in it, I would not soak them in the soil that they were going to be in. I would only soak them separately and then plant them back into dry soil. But this gritty mix dries out so quickly that there's no reason to worry with this little of roots. They can't soak much up anyways, so they're not gonna overindulge in water right now. Alrighty, you guys, I think that's it for this video today. I will give you another update in a few weeks whenever I check their roots again. And until then, happy growing. Alrighty, you guys, I ended up only soaking these for about 4 hours last night and coming and checking on them late, and I decided, nah, I don't want to soak them all night. I am just going to soak them for about 4 hours. So that's what I ended up doing. You can see here that their sides are still wrinkly, and that's just fine. You never want to water until they're more plump. You just want to give the roots a good bath and some good stimulation and incentive to grow. You don't really want the plants to absorb a ton of water, but I could tell they were all absorbing some. And so I was like, well, if they're absorbing water already after only 4 hours with those few roots, then I don't want to soak them all night long. So I didn't, but they are pretty happy today and looking good, and I will check on them in another couple weeks and see how the roots are and see if they need any more moisture or if we're getting a pretty good little developed root system by then that will kick in just fine. Alrighty, that's it for today. I will talk to you guys soon, and happy growing!